Your hairstylist has been politely lying to you for years. There are exactly 11 hairstyles quietly adding years to women over 60 right now. And for every single one of them, I have a direct alternative that fixes the problem on your next salon visit. I'm going to give you all 11 with the exact language to use when you sit down in that chair. And I promise you, number 7 is one that most women over 60 think is safe, flattering, and even elegant. It is neither. Stay with me because when we get there, you are going to want to call your stylist that same day. Let's go. Number 1, the tight uniform perm. You know this one. Every curl the same size, the same tightness, rolled in the same direction, frozen in place like it was scheduled. Uniform curls do not look natural, and the tightness actually shrinks the visual size of the hair, making it lose length and balance. On aging hair, it also emphasizes dryness, which becomes more common the older we get. The result is a rounded silhouette that sits on your head like a perfect dome. Stylists have a private name for this. They call it the poodle effect. The fix. Ask for a soft body wave using mixed rod sizes, not uniform rods. Different curl sizes create organic movement. The goal is hair that looks like it happened to you beautifully, not hair that looks like it was manufactured. Number 2, the heavily teased crown. Height should not be your strategy. Blasting the roots with a round brush and freezing the crown with hairspray adds height, not youth. What you actually get is a mound sitting on top of your head that looks more formal than fresh. I once watched someone casually ruffle this kind of set style at the door of a salon. Just let it fall naturally for 1 second, and 5 years came off her face instantly. That moment told you everything. The fix. Ask for volume that comes from the cut itself. Interior layers at the crown that lift without teasing. Then finish with a lightweight mousse, not spray. Hair that moves reads young. Hair that is frozen reads dated. Number 3, the blunt line chin length bob with no movement. The bob is not the enemy. What ages you is the specific version with ends so heavy and a line so strict that the whole thing becomes a block. When a bob is too heavy at the ends, the line too strict, the styling too lacquered, you get a block of hair instead of a frame for the face. And from the back it reads like a perfect half circle. Stylists quietly call this the council cut. It looks controlled. It looks dated. It looks like you stopped deciding what you wanted and just asked for something safe. The fix. Take weight out of the ends. Ask for invisible interior layers that let the bob sway when you walk. Tell your stylist, I want movement in a frame, not a block. That sentence alone changes everything. Number 4, the skull-hugging crop blown flat. Short hair is not the problem. The problem is a short cut that has been blow-dried and sprayed into a tight cap with no texture, no softness, no personality. When every strand is frozen in the same direction, the result is less chic pixie and more nice lady from the bank. Frumpiness sneaks in because the haircut was chosen only because it dries fast, not because it actually lights up your face. The fix. Ask your stylist to razor texture the crown and leave the top slightly longer so it can flop and lift instead of sitting flat. Then scrunch in a pea-size curl cream at home instead of blasting it straight. The same shortness becomes something completely different. Number 5, the thick straight low fringe. Women choose this fringe to cover forehead lines. It does cover them. But here is what it also does. A thick straight low fringe drops the whole face visually, closing the eyes and dragging attention downward. You hide one thing and pull everything else down with it. Your eyes become smaller. Your face becomes heavier. You look like you aged trying to hide that you were aging. The fix. Ask for a softer, slightly wispy or side-swept fringe instead. It blurs the lines without swallowing the face. The difference between a fringe that ages you and one that lifts you is literally a few centimeters and 1 degree of angle. Number 6. Flat heavy hair hanging straight past the shoulders. This is not about length. This is about what happens to hair texture after 60 when length is not updated to work with it. Extra long hair worn flat and close to the head at the top creates a silhouette that narrows and lengthens the face visually while dragging attention to the jawline and neck. And hair past 60 rarely has the body to carry that length without turning limp. If all the movement is happening at your bra strap, no one is looking at your great smile. The fix. Ask for a long layered cut that stops at the collarbone. Face framing pieces that begin at the cheekbones. The length stays. The downward drag disappears. Number 7, the perfectly maintained single process jet black. Here it is. This is the one most women over 60 think is sleek and polished and flattering. Some of you have been touching up those roots faithfully for 30 years. You think it makes you look powerful. And I understand why it once did. But here is what is actually happening now. Deep black absorbs light instead of reflecting it. It accentuates shadows and makes the complexion appear cooler and more severe. After 60 skin tone shifts, the same shade that once looked striking now pulls every hollow, every shadow, and every fine line directly into focus. The contrast between very dark hair and naturally softening skin becomes the first thing the eye lands on, and not in the way you want. The fix. You do not have to go gray. You do not have to go blonde. Ask your colorist for multidimensional color. A softer base with warm lowlights, or a rich brunette shade 2 tones lighter than what you currently have. The depth stays. The harshness disappears. This one change, just the color, no new cut required, is one of the fastest visible improvements a woman over 60 can make. Now I want to pause and speak directly to someone watching right now. You have been wearing one of these hairstyles for years, possibly decades, and every year you walk into that salon and ask for the same thing because it feels safe, because you look like yourself, because changing it feels like admitting something you are not ready to admit. I am not here to shame you, but I want you to hear this clearly. You are not protecting your identity by keeping that cut. You are protecting a version of yourself from a different decade. And that version deserved great hair too, but this version of you, the one alive right now, deserves better. Just something to sit with. Before we continue, drop a comment right now and tell me which number you are currently wearing. I already know the comment section is about to tell the truth. Number 8, the rolled under page boy. The ends curl under toward the jaw in one perfectly obedient wave. It looks neat. It looks put together. But heavy rounded ends drag the features down, especially around the jaw and neck. When hair stops moving, the whole face seems to freeze with it. The roll under creates a visual frame that pulls the eye directly to the lower half of your face, exactly where most women over 60 least want the focus. The fix. Ask for a cut that lets the ends fall naturally or flip outward slightly. A soft, outward flicked bob is one of the most youthful shapes for this age. It creates upward energy instead of downward pull. Number 9. Overlayered hair that has lost all its weight. There is such a thing as too many layers, and this is it. Overlayering leads to very thin ends. A lot of women cut layers that are too short thinking it creates body, but it makes the hair look thinner. That hair has to come from somewhere, and it is always cut from the bottom, so it makes the bottom look sparse. You end up with hair that wisps and flutters at the ends without any substance. On aging hair that is already naturally thinning, this looks fragile rather than feathery. The fix. Ask your stylist to remove the overlayering by growing out the shortest layers and doing a single clean length point with only face framing pieces. Less layering, better weight distribution, more body overall. Number 10. The aggressively high stiff bouffant blowout. This one goes to weekly appointments, a roller set, and a can of spray. The tightly set shape that never moves, the too round dome that widens the face. These styles were sold to women as low maintenance and respectable. But what they actually do is announce the decade they came from. The rigidity is the problem. When hair does not move, the face looks more static too. The liveliness we associate with youth is about having hair that responds to air, to gesture, to the tilt of your head. The fix. Ask your stylist to update the shape with a soft structured blowout using a large paddle brush. Lift at the roots, movement through the mid-lengths, nothing stiff. Hair should respond when you move. That responsiveness is what reads as alive. Number 11, the unchanged style from a decade or more ago. This is the one that covers every hairstyle on this list, and some that are not. Because the most aging thing a woman over 60 can wear is a hairstyle that has not changed since a different era of her life. Old styles do not just add visual years, they reinforce old thoughts. The same rigid shape, the same routine, the same instruction to your stylist every single time. These become tiny ceremonies of aging. Your hair is telling a story every single day. The question is whether it is telling the right one. The fix. The next time you sit in that chair, say this exact sentence to your stylist. What would you do if I gave you permission to ignore my old rules? Then listen. That conversation is worth more than any specific cut on this list. Here is what I want you to leave with today. The right haircut does not just change how old you look. It changes how you feel walking into every room. It changes how you hold your shoulders. It changes what you reach for in your closet. It changes what you think you are still allowed to want. That is not a small thing. Next episode, we are talking about the 5 wardrobe pieces that are doing the exact same thing to your body that these hairstyles are doing to your face, and the specific replacements that do the opposite. You do not want to miss it. Still that woman. Always.